Everybody, we are back. It is Safe to Launch Favorites Podcast, Favorites Channel, Favorites Everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. I get this tweet out. Hit the subscribe button. Oh, I didn't have it on here yet. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at Glen Rockney for Glenn, and of course Panda Subs for TDL discount code. Use that discount code TDL for 35% off. Glenn, we are here talking a little bit of rookie minicamp, a little bit of the talk that's been going around Raiders Nation a little bit, and Raiders Nation is always talking. There's always a debate. I mean, it's not as fun with Derek Carr gone. Nobody's yelling at each other.
Yeah.
It's not as vicious. Let's say that nobody's trying to fight somebody, meet somebody up, catch a fade or anything like that. But we're still getting a lot of debate of what's going to happen with the season and everything that's going on. We got rookie minicamp happening right now. So what are some of your thoughts of things that have been happening this week?
At first, I every year I tell myself, don't react to the clips. When you see guys working out, running with the ball in their hand, don't react. They don't mean anything, Glenn. Just don't be an idiot. And then I'm like, retweet, this is so sick, man. Brock Bowers, let's go. Jackson Powers Johnson pushing like little guys around. Let's go. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait. I don't know why I'm addicted to this team. I just can't get enough. It is cool though, because I really like this draft class. This is the first draft class I think since 2014 that I've really just been pumped on. 2014 was Carr and Mack and all them, right? Yeah. That was the first one where I was like, man, I actually think like this class, because I actually didn't really care for like the Carr pick in the second round that much, even though I ended up liking him more than the people that hated him as he played. The first couple picks, it's like, man, these guys are ballers. I kind of like that they weren't very good in their press conferences either. Like, not what I mean is very good is they all just kind of like, just out here to play ball, sounds good. Just out here to play ball, sounds good. Kind of most of their answers besides Jackson Powers Johnson. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about this class too. I really think it's going to be a really good class. Everything they do is pretty. I mean, these guys just got me excited, especially this Brock Bowers and Jackson Powers Johnson. I mean, those guys have me excited all together. So to see them out there in rookie minicamp was pretty exciting. See Jackson Powers Johnson just try to take out a Raiders coach. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but that just shows his mentality, and that's why I really like him. So I'm really excited about everything that he's doing right now and how he's performing. So just him talking too, to kind of get into that, getting a little angry there. And then, Brock Bowers doesn't have a hairline, so it looks like he's ready to play already. So yeah, it's a lot to be excited about going into the season, I think.
Brock is going full bald within the next 3 to 4 weeks. By training camp, he will be fully bald. I said year 2 on Twitter. I was like, year 2, he's going to look like, some Johnny Sins type cat, but like Brock Bowers already that kind of name, but he's going to get enough jokes. I think like Georgia Bulldogs, look, it's a big time SEC program. They were top of the dog, but it's different when you're in the NFL and you're going to have like Drewski making fun of you. You know what I mean? On Twitter with that hairline or people like that. Like you're going to have those type of dudes clowning on you. And I know he doesn't seem to care about that type of stuff, but he's going to go bald and it's going to look sick.
Yeah. It's time. He's got to let it go.
It is crazy, bro. That had to have been going since like 16 years old, bro. That had to have been fading because he's like 21 right now, isn't he? Or like 22. Wild. I got one thing. I got one thing on Brock Bowers. I got one thing on him, and I got hair. Yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing to have, man. Is hair on him.
He might beat me everywhere else. Yards after the catch, I think he's got me. But yeah.
hair is it's a long hair show, bro. This is what
I'll
we do.
You up, Brock. I got you, bro. I got you. Next cut, dude. I got you, dude. If you don't want to.
Yeah. For sure, man. All right. So some of the things we're gonna be talking about today, guys. The coin flip for 13. That was some big news this week. I don't even know where that came from. So maybe Glenn, you could tell me where that came from. I don't know where that came from, but you can probably give me the history of that. AOC's job to lose, which is very interesting today. That was a very interesting take. That people thought that Gardner Minshew would be getting that kind of that nod there, but AOC's job to lose, and then JPJ at left guard, which was as people, talking about Dylan Parham, like he sucks. Dude, Dylan Parham is out the window. Some people are saying Dylan Parham is going to get cut. I don't know who's going to get cut for. Hopefully it's not Cody Whitehair. Hopefully they're not that dumb. And then Thayer Munford at right tackle. And then we talk about a little bit of Carter Bradley. And of course, you take your guys' questions. So whatever questions you guys got, just throw them at us. Like I always say, throw your questions at us. Any question you got, we're here to answer those questions, talk to you guys, and go through this. So anything else happened? Did I miss anything? Is there anything else besides, kind of those topics a little bit?
No, I think those are the big ones. No, I nothing that crazy. I don't think. The Terrion Arnold thing, I guess, is a good one to lead with, though.
Yeah. So the coin flip, right? You got to give me history because I saw this one day. I came online and they're asking Champ Kelly about the coin flip, and I was like, "What the hell did the coin flip come from? Where did that come from?" But I guess there was a coin flip, supposedly a rumor about a coin flip between Terrion Arnold and Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers won the coin flip. Of course, they denied that today. There's act like that didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. But I don't know where that rumor came from. And maybe somebody can give me the history on that, but in the chat or whatever. But
Terrion Arnold said it. Terrion Arnold said it in an interview. So Terrion Arnold was being interviewed, and he said, "Well, the Raiders were going to take me. They were deciding between me and Brock Bowers, and we were so neck and neck. It came down to a coin flip, which is something. If I was Terrion Arnold's agent, and because he didn't go for another 10 picks after that, I don't think, or 11 picks after that, and he was probably tripping because he was mocked a lot higher than that in a lot of other mock drafts." And I bet if I was Terrion Arnold's agent, I'd be like, bro, it was just a coin flip, dude. Sorry, 50-50 chance they didn't take you. Kind of weird to me that he goes 11 picks later and not like 2 picks later, which would make it a little. But I don't know. To be honest, I'll put it to you this way. I would much rather win. I think they won the coin toss. I'll say that much because there is a Terrion Arnold in every draft. That's not to say he's bad. I think there's just a good, solid corner in every draft, especially in the first round. There is not a Brock Bowers in every draft. So you take the guy that's like, whoa, this is something I don't see every year. His size, speed, and skill set, and coming from like a primetime college program, not a project in any way. And I see in the comments, and he says Antonio Pierce told him that. I don't think so. And Antonio Pierce shut it down today at his press conference. He says, I only talk about Raiders. Maybe he did. Maybe he said, look, I was pounding the table saying like I want to have this guy on my team, but like it seemed like everybody wanted Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I mean, just having Brock Bowers fall to them and to kind of decide where they wanted to go from there, and kind of if you have Brock Bowers fall to you, I don't know if you want to take Terrion Arnold over him. If you're going best player available, if you're not doing that, if you're trying to take a different approach to the best player available, then maybe you want to go Terrion Arnold. But obviously that's what they were doing. There's a lot of things they feel like they can do with Brock Bowers. There's a lot of excitement about him at rookie minicamp, the way he was moving, some of the things that he was doing. And so there's excitement there. But, I mean, for Terrion Arnold to kind of say that, I think that's weird. Terrion Arnold talks a lot. I don't know, probably so that I guess some podcast or something, probably on some podcast just talking shit. But he was funny today because he's talking about he would press his mom into the ground. I thought that was a funny quote. But he talks a lot. Terrion Arnold likes to talk. He likes to. He's very confident, dude. So who knows? Maybe that did happen. I don't know. He doesn't really come off to me as a liar. So maybe somebody told him that because
his agent. I guarantee you, his agent told him. That's my thing. Like if you're sitting on the board and you don't go by pick 13, which you thought you'd be gone by then, and you're kind of like, man, what's going on in the first round? And he sat for a long time after pick 13, which is why I don't think it was really a coin flip. Because if it really was, I think another team comes and swoops him up real fast. If that happens, like how Fuaga went right after Bowers, like that made a little more sense if it was a coin flip between those two. But then also I don't think then fans started literally thinking the Raiders flip coins in the war room. Coin flip is it's an abstract term. It's not literal. Like they don't just go because I remember we lost out on Mike McGlinchey a while back because of a literal coin flip for the Niners to get the pick ahead of the Raiders. The Raiders ended up with the better tackle in that draft anyways, but that was a literal coin flip. I don't believe that the Telesco Antonio Pierce organization flips coins to pick players.
No, I hope not. I hope that's not a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, no. So damn good first 2 rounds if that's how they do it. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say that much. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people in the chat saying it's not AP, and I probably believe that, and he's probably right. It's probably an agent. His agent probably told him that yeah, it was a coin flip, bro. They were gonna take you
This
or
close,
Brock Bowers.
this
Okay,
close, bro.
it was so close,
Yeah.
so close. We're happy you landed with the Lions, though. We think it's a better destination, but you were so close. It was you and Brock Bowers. You know what I mean? That's an agent. That's some agent shit if he's saying that for real, because there's no reason for him to kind of put that out there. But I guess it kind of makes him seem like he would have went higher, or he had more of a connection to Raiders. He just wasn't a Tom Telesco corner anyway. I never thought Tom Telesco was like him. He ran too slow, and he was a little too big.
Well, also
So, yeah,
Alabama. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Alabama
Mhm.
played a lot of press man for years and years and years. They would press up. This was the first year for a while that they didn't play a lot of press man. To me, that means you're like, I don't even Saban. He can talk him up out any way he wants, but if you changed your scheme for the
yeah,
first time in that long to do that, I don't know. To me, neither of those guys. Kool-Aid in the second round was an interesting value to me. That's when I started liking him. But neither of those guys were like, pick 13. I have to have that. It felt like a pick that would fit a need. A lot of fans would be excited. But Bowers to me was just this. This fell to you. Don't be stupid. 3 years from now, you're gonna go looking back at the draft. Man, we screwed that up. Who could we could have had Brock Bowers? Like that. That's that type of pick. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And you're right, man. I think kind of Terry Arnold and Kool-Aid. I liked Kool-Aid better than Terry Arnold. So that was kind of my thing. I thought Kool-Aid was the better player, just because I feel like Kool-Aid didn't get any targets this year, and Terry Arnold got all the targets. So it allowed Terry Arnold to make more plays and kind of show off his skill set. But I still think that Kool-Aid was probably might be the better corner. He might even be the better corner in the NFL, just because just has a little bit of better job in coverage, and he doesn't lose a lot. Terry Arnold lost more than Kool-Aid ever did, right? So I think kind of the knock on Kool-Aid is just he didn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so Terry Arnold made a lot of plays this year, but we're gonna see how he does in the NFL. But he's a dog though. He can tackle, man. He's a dog. He's a player like that. He's definitely a guy who will get better. But you're definitely happy with Brock Bowers. You can't get much better than that, especially with how they want to run this offense, and if they can get creative, it could be pretty good.
Yeah, no, to me, I remember. Look, the live reaction says it all. Like when you and I'm glad somebody did clip that. Shout out to the person that clipped it. Where I was just really surprised, and then I was like, "Whoa, I love it." I never saw that coming, and I love it. And it was just Terrion Arnold. I would have been like, "All right, fits it. He fits the scheme. I get, that's fine. Good pick. That's how I would have thought about it. Good pick." But I wouldn't have been like pumped on it. No, and I don't think that's the way these draft rooms go. I think Telesco, again, I think he got a little interesting in round 3. But I think the first couple times he looked, what fell to me that shouldn't have fallen to me, I'm going to take that, and my coaching staff's going to make it work. That's how it felt like it was like. So there, I'm glad if it was down to a huge debate between the scouts. I'm glad whoever moved the needle for Bowers, I'm glad that person's voice was the one that moved it, if that was the case.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of think that they're going to go best player available the whole time. Anyways, I don't know if they're going to go Terran Arnold or if that really was a thing. I just think that it's just kind of talk. I feel like that's agent speak, man. He
Yeah,
just got
definitely.
lied to by his agent. Agent hyped him up a little bit, and he kind of just ran with it and just was talking. And as I'm saying, he likes to talk. He can talk. He's a talker. He's that type of dude that he's gonna keep talking. Just like I said, he had that throwing his mom into the ground. He's that type of guy, right? He makes quotes. He had great quotes at the combine. That's just what he does. He's a talker type of player, right? And he's a very confident player. So, I don't know what's the truth in that though. It's just not.
No,
I just don't see Tom Telesco even taking him. So that's my thing. But
no, but again, the people at the rumor mill, Raiders beat writers, he was mocked there a lot. So therefore, it's easy for not a slow time, but we were in between. We're not at camp yet and stuff. So time, that's an easy story to run with for if you're writing for the Athletic for the Raiders or something. It's easy. It's easy to it's a good easy question to ask. I'm glad Pierce shut it down. He's like, I talk about Raiders. Like, I'm here with my 32 rookies at this camp, and that's, do you want to talk about the guy who plays for the Lions? All right. Either way, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Like, that doesn't matter. It's like, even if the situation was reversed and they said, what about Brock Bowers? He'd be like, well, what do you want my answer about Brock Bowers? Who cares? He's on, the other team. But I'm pumped we have Brock Bowers. I'm just going to say it a million times. Pumped we have him.
Yeah. Oh man, I like Brock Bowers a lot, so I'm not gonna try to knock that pick.
Yeah, you guys were juiced. I watched your breakdowns. You guys were like really trying hard to find something because you guys are pretty critical, and as you should be.
Yeah.
And you guys really didn't find a lot. And he's 21 years old. This isn't like a 5th-year senior guy either. Like, this is a guy who's got some room to grow, I think.
Yeah. I really like the pick. It's like I like JPJ too. Like, I love that pick, man.
Oh man. Both those guys, man. Both those guys, especially where they got him. There's another guy I didn't think would be in the second round. I did not think he would be at pick 44, that's what I get so excited about in the draft. I don't pretend to know everything, but when a guy shouldn't be there and my team gets him, at least for the offseason, I'm like, well, we stole somebody,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, man. I saw somebody talking about merch. We do have merch, so I'm gonna put it in the chat here. If I can get it loaded here without us shutting down the whole chat here or whole stream. But I'll get some. We got some merch. Definitely got some shirts and stuff like that. You guys support. We did have the blackout stuff, but kind of shut that down a little bit. We do have some merch though, so I'm gonna put that up there. See some people asking about that. Guys can support the channel, buy some merch. Got shirts. We got sweaters. We got long sleeve shirts. You know what I'm saying? Ain't got nothing for the ladies yet, so we'll make something though. The more female fans we get, the more we'll make something for the ladies. But yeah, we do got some merch, guys. So I'll make sure I put it in the chat during the show at some point. So yeah, I mean, anything else about that? I feel like that was
no, it's big nothing. It's a big nothing. I didn't believe it for a second, but I knew it would become a thing because of the timing of the release of just kind of post draft, not much going on. Camp hadn't quite started yet, the rookie mini camp, and even then, that's just a local team fan base thing to care about is rookie mini camp. That's not something that's a national thing. But if there's two highly Georgia and Alabama player, that a team, it's an easy clickbait story.
Yeah, because I had no idea where that question came from. I was like, why are they asking Champ Kelly that? I was like, what about? I mean,
yeah, he was a little thrown off by that. Yeah, he was just like, what? Yeah, whatever. You only got to answer that question once. I'm sorry. It's not. Again, somebody thought I was in the comments saying that the Raiders were actually doing a coin flip between Fuaga and Bowers. I don't think that's the case. What I'm saying is you would compare the guys picked the pick after as the coin toss pick. That if you were a media person who didn't know anything and wanted a story, you wouldn't pick the guy who got picked 11 picks later as the guy they were going to take. That's why it doesn't work. Like there is sort of like teams feeling each other out in terms of who's going to take who where. That's what I was going off. Like I said, that's I'm very happy with what the Raiders got. And regardless, if Terrion Arnold has a really nice rookie year, he's in the NFC and good for them, good for him. But yeah, I think I still like 89 a little bit more.
All right, man. So see, you got any question in the chat here? And the chat's really just arguing about AP and Terrion Arnold.
It's getting electric in the chat right now. I saw somebody. You can block someone on YouTube. I saw somebody. That's crazy.
You can't.
Damn. In the comments,
if you deserve it, I guess so. I guess
we're in Derek Carr second contract era right now. Raider fans, come on, guys.
All right, so Marcus, I was looking at some QBs for 2025 draft. Kalen DeBoer can make Jalen Moreau into a point guard. I think Moreau can be a prospect to watch. I haven't watched Jalen Moreau too much, but from the games I did watch, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Jalen Moreau, right? I really feel like Carson Beck and Donovan Smith are going to be the guys. I see people on Twitter now they're buying into Donovan Smith. I said that in March. I'm just going to say that here, but. Now everybody's dying in Donovan Smith for the 2025 quarterback, which I hope that's not a jinx. So, but I still think that might be the guy for the Raiders if the Raiders decide to go that route, But the way this offense is shaping up, hopefully,
We'll
maybe
see.
AOC
Yeah.
can have a decent season.
I got a name
Who
too, and
knows though?
I've said it in the past. I think Brady Cook out of Missouri. I think he's gonna have a really nice year this year. I think he battled really hard as a quarterback last year. I think he's a 6'2", 205 guy. He was right to come back. I think this is a good year for him to come out because there's just not like a Caleb Williams in the class. I think it's a good. I think that Missouri team's good. He's already got Luther Burden the third there, who's gonna. Man, he's gonna have an amazing year for Missouri, I think. And
Mhm.
I think Brady Cook is a guy to watch out for. I think he's gonna rise pretty hard.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Um, I think that's a good player to watch out for. Just people aren't talking about him. He's in the SEC, so if he
He
has a
can
big year
run
in the
too,
SEC,
and he can run.
you know,
Like if fans want mobility, I do too. That dude can go pick up a first down, like if you need him to. And I think he has everything that people want, but he's just, again, Missouri, they had a better year than people give him credit for last year. But they just got kind of lost in the SEC shuffle. If they have a big year this year, which they definitely can with Alabama losing Saban and stuff like that. If Missouri has a big year this year, I think he's going to end up elevating himself in talks of a first round pick. And I will say this year, if Raiders still have a question mark at quarterback, how many teams are going to need a quarterback this year? We might hit a wall with teams that actually need a quarterback this year in the first round. If 6 got taken last year, Penix, if the Falcons have it their way, he's not playing this year, so they're not even going to know the answer to that. Bryce Young is interesting. I don't know that they pulled the trigger on that yet, but if they're picking number 1, perhaps, but they also might want to get the picks back that they gave for the number 1. There's going to be a lot of teams. Jets might be a team. There's a lot of teams that might want a quarterback, but I don't know if it's going to be 6 going in the top, whatever, like it was. I think the Raiders will be in a better spot to go get one this year, but maybe the class might not be as good.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see though. I mean, the class thing could change. I mean, with quarterbacks having big years, you know what I mean? Like they will change, man. So it's not that crazy, right? And that's a good transition because our next topic is AOC's job to lose. Okay, so that was the news. That was the big news out of today. I mean, if anything else, the big news out of today was that it was AOC's job to lose. I see a lot of people asking questions about Parham, which I'm going to get to that. We're going to talk about Parham a lot.
Sure.
With the JPJ moving to left guard.
We got a lot of O-line stuff today, guys. A lot of O-line stuff today.
It's an O-line day, kind of a little bit, but we'll start with the quarterback. Aiden O'Connell it's his job to lose, according to AP. So I got the AP quote here. I got the full quote. So has taken the bull by the horns, and Minshew is right there with him. O'Connell would get the first snap because of his seniority, and Pierce said, "I'm really excited to see what happens." Okay.
Wow.
Now, I do want to let Antonio Pierce know that Gardner Minshew is the older player, so he has the seniority. So
right. Not Raider seniority.
He doesn't have Raider seniority, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think about this quote? Because I think this is very interesting. I know a lot of I see people talk about the beat writers taking L's, and I really feel like they are going to take an L with this. I don't know why they assumed that Gardner Minshew was going to be the starter. I think that AOC's job, and we saw AOC play in the preseason in one of the hardest offenses in football. Like, I don't think he's going to go out there and have a bad preseason. So I believe that this kind of shapes him up to be the starter week 1. But what are your thoughts?
Well, he kind of has to play a little bit in the preseason because even if he does have the edge on, I think it gives him a leg up on the job. I don't know that he's the guy right now. I think he still has things he has to prove for sure to get the job. It doesn't seem like that's the culture of this team right now, is to hand the keys over to a guy who, went, what was it, 4-4, 5-4 last year? I mean, had a very nice end of the season. I'm a fan. I want to see more for sure. It's funny to see, Antonio Pierce, and I think a lot of the fans, they fall in love with Minshew's personality. And look, he's got the look, man. Look at him, he's got the look. But he's also got the look of a backup quarterback. Hell, I look like a backup quarterback. Like the coolest guy on the team is often the backup quarterback. It happens a lot. Like, you always hear about, like, dude, this guy rocks, and he's just with a visor and a clipboard on the sideline. He's the coolest guy of all time. But Minshew last year, PFF does really good breakdowns of like turnover worthy plays. I know it's a silly stat because we can all see them with our own eyes. But if you don't watch every Colts game, which I'm sorry, Raider fans, you don't watch every Colts game, except for the one, unfortunately, last year that we lost them. which was Minshew's like best game for sure. He puts a lot of the ball in harm's way a lot. And I think the identity of this team is going to not do that as the quarterback. They're going to want to run the ball, do some 12 personnel, do stuff like that, and take care of the football. And I think Aiden O'Connell's done a good job getting in shape. He looks really good right now. Like,
Yeah.
pause on that, I guess. But he does like he looks like an NFL player now. He's had that NFL offseason. He looks like he wants to win the job. I think he has to really have a disaster training camp. And I'm talking like chemistry wise, which he's got the leg up in right now.
Yeah.
So it has to be like it's not
Like,
Devontae.
awful.
Devontae's like, this guy's trash. Get him out of here. Which I don't know. I don't know. Something could happen. But as of right now, I think he's going to start week 1 as of now.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the week 1 starter. I don't think so. I just like he has a sweat here on his hat. This is just a grinder, right?
That's baseball. That's like JV baseball right there.
It's JV baseball right here, dog, with the sweat on the
Love
hat.
it.
You know what I'm
Love
saying? Like this is a grinder. You know what I mean? He's been in the lab. He doesn't care. He doesn't clean the hat. He's been wearing this hat every single day. So I thought that was interesting. That was probably the first thing I saw when I saw that picture. I was like, man, this dude has not cleaned his hat. Like this that was like me playing baseball like freshman year with my hat full of sweat. You know,
those flex fit hats from high school, dude. The flex fit ones that would just absorb salt from your head. Yeah. Oh no, take me back, dude. Glory days.
Yeah, it is kind of gross, but it just shows how much of a grinder he is. He doesn't care. He's just, you know what I'm saying? He's there to play football.
This is football, dude. Guys piss themselves on the field. What? Yeah.
There's sweat in the hat, man. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
He's like,
there's way grosser stuff. Way grosser things in football. Trust me. Yeah.
100%, man. Oh, man. But yeah, I just think that's what AP loves. AP loves that he is in the lab grinding. Like he is just there every single day. He's been there the whole off season. He's been trying to get better, and I think that's why he has a leg up. And also, I mean, he is a young player too. I mean, yeah, he's an older young player. He's going to turn 26 this year. He's not like Drake May or anything, right? Young wise, but I still think that with how he has a chance to have that leap, and that's what they're betting on. I think they're betting on this year. They want to see if AOC takes a leap, and that's why I think they weren't in a rush to take a quarterback. I know they're saying they would take Michael Penix. You know, AP said that today. The 2 quarterbacks they wanted weren't there, so Brock Bowers is the next best option. But I still think they are expecting AOC to kind of take that jump, right? And that's what you hope from a guy who played pretty decent as a first-year player, right? I mean, he wasn't terrible. He wasn't good necessarily. I would say he was about decent. He was about an average. He showed he could be a competent quarterback in the NFL. That's a good word, competent. He's not awful. Like he's not Zach Wilson, right? We know that he's not Zach Wilson. We could also, every Raiders fan knows that AOC is better than Zach Wilson, or some of these other guys that came in the league and kind of just washed out. It's just what his ceiling is. I saw somebody talk about that in the comments.
Yeah.
It's what's his ceiling. So that's a good way to kind of look at him. But we know he's competent, right? We know he's not terrible. So I guess it's kind of the way to look at it.
And I think there's a lot of Raider fans that will say his lack of mobility, which it's all there. I won't argue with this lack of mobility. I mean, that's pretty objective. He's not going to be a guy that's going to go run for first downs. But I think I think people misconstrue the lack of mobility to the ceiling. They say, well, his ceiling is low because of that. I don't think his ceiling is Tom Brady, despite the number change. I don't think that's his ceiling. No, most quarterbacks are not that way. But that doesn't mean he can't get better, because I think he can get quicker. I think he can really get rid of the ball quicker, read the field quicker, move in the pocket better. And that doesn't mean scramble, duck under a sack, but just kind of, okay, he should have a better interior of the offensive line this year, which I think for his skill set, that is like super essential, is to have that interior of the O-line be stout. And I think it has potential to be that. And that is, to me, if he can just get quicker. Again, it is a new offense, so maybe the continuity in terms of like offensive coordinator is not there. So he is going to have, I think, a little bit of a learning curve with the new offense, but so is Minshew. So it's just, I think he can get better. I still think he's Texans Matt Schaub. not the pick six record Matt Schaub. I'm talking about the guy that was leading. The Texans knew they needed to upgrade quarterback the whole
Yeah.
time, but at the same time, he was passing for like 5,000 yards and putting up numbers and had a good team around him. And everybody knew it's like, ooh, we still need that guy, but he's a placeholder till they find it, I think.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, Matt Schaub. Because Matt Schaub is what was a third, fourth round pick for the Falcons.
Falcons, he had more time. Matt Schaub had more time to sit back. Yeah, but still, it's different era. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, different era, and he wasn't a Kubiak system too, which is very easy. But this is a West Coast system too, so it might make it a little easier for Aiden O'Connell than running the Tom Brady offense. Because I mean, last year he had to be Tom Brady. You run that Erhard Perkins. I mean, the only guy who's ran it pretty well. There's two guys. It's Josh Allen, and people decide whether he ran that well. There's a question. They had to fire the guy of that offense, and then now they're moving to a West Coast offense. So they're changing it. And Tom Brady. So there's only two guys who ran Josh McDaniels' offense successfully in the past, like I don't know, like 15 years, 20 years. So he'll be getting to a easier offense for him to kind of read the field, make it a lot easier for him, allow him to kind of get rid of the ball quicker. And then adding in the tight ends and running a more 12 personnel in the West Coast offense helps a lot. He'll be able to throw more to the middle of the field. They could be smart. Devontae Adams is really bought into Luke Getsy, so I'm sure he's telling Getsy how he wants to be used. If they move him inside a little bit more, and I'm sure Getsy's going to try to use him like he did in Green Bay. So there's going to be a lot more short passes to Devontae Adams instead of just throwing it 40 yards and hoping a guy who ran a 4.6 can just run the greatest route ever,
right?
And get open on those deep routes. And of course, you want to hit on some fades sometimes, but I think Getsy will do a little bit better of understanding how to use Devontae. And we'll get back to more 9 yards average Devontae instead of 14 yards average per throw Devontae. So I think it's going to work a little bit better for him. So we'll get to see, though. It's just, my thing with AOC, and, I'll talk about this, is that he just sucked in the clutch last year. So he's got to get better there. If he can become more of a clutch player, I think it will change people's minds. Because I think there's a couple of games last year that if he had that, if we felt he had that clutchness to him. I don't want to say clutch gene like I'm Skip Bayless, but this, he had that, the ability to be clutch a little bit more, which I think is super important for a quarterback. You can talk about anything, quarterback does, yada, yada, yada. I need you to be damn clutch because you have the ball and there's 2 minutes left and we're not handing the ball off. I need you to be able to go down and make those throws and be patient and be calm and have poise, right?
Yeah, let's see it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's very important to me. And he couldn't do that last year. He couldn't lead those game-winning drives. There's some opportunities like the Vikings. I talk about this a lot. The Vikings, the Dolphins game.
Yeah.
A couple of those games, we had a more, if he was able to show that ability to be clutch, maybe the Raiders actually make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to show that, in my opinion, because I think Gardner Minshew's better than that. Than he is. So that's kind of the difference. Like if you hang in the game, Gardner Minshew, he might do some stupid shit like in the last 2 minutes and you win the game. So I think that's kind of the little bit of the difference between them. Even though I think Aiden O'Connell has a higher upside and higher ability, I just think he's got to be more clutch. So that's my thing though.
All right. If they here's my answer. If they can run the ball, I want O'Connell back there. If they can't run the ball, give me Minshew and let's just try to pray every play. That's honestly what it comes down to me. Because if they're able to run the ball, I think that it really comes down to it. Can they run the ball this year in that Getsy scheme? Because that's the only thing that had that going for the Bears was their run game was pretty good. I know a lot of that, some of that was Justin Fields, but I do think Getsy calls a good run game. And if they can run the football, then I want O'Connell in there. To go big, 12 personnel, pound it at them. Spread out every once in a while, put Bowers in the slot, just things like that. Like they have the opportunity to do that. Right now, it's O'Connell to me. If Minshew comes in and just blows everyone away and has an amazing camp, I think Pierce will give him the job. Like I don't think he's tied to either of these guys, and contractually they're really not either. That's the thing. Like there's so many people we're used to having the Derek Carr contract to work around as Raider fans. They're not tied to either of these guys for any period of time. Like they could cut O'Connell if they wanted to. I'm not saying they will. I just mean they have that flexibility to be like, God, no, this isn't working at all. Get him out of here. Like that. It's just a completely different era of Raider football right now.
Exactly. All right, so let's get to some of these questions here. I see some people asking questions. excited about this team. DJ Glazer at left guard. Now, I don't know where they're gonna fit Glazer in. You
Weird.
know, I think he's a guard after watching him on film, kind of in depth and breaking it down. And Matt felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like he's a guard. And I don't know if he could play right tackle in the NFL. So that's gonna be interesting to see where they move him. I don't know where he's playing today. He's not a first or second round pick, so there's no videos of him. But I don't know exactly where they saw him. I don't know. I know he might have had a press conference. I don't know if they talked to him a little bit, but you know how that goes. Especially with a lot of the Raiders media's guys, if you're not a superstar, they don't care. They kind of just walk away and
Yeah,
ask you like
yeah.
two questions, whatever, right? So I don't know exactly where he's at, but it's gonna be interesting to see where he plays. I don't know what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah, good point about the how they don't care if you're not a superstar. Because Decamerion Richardson, apparently they were like, I heard about like his horses and stuff. Antonio Pierce was talking about how he loves horses. I'd be asking him all day about, oh, well, you're into equestrian, like that's sick, dude, and like having horses and stuff. Not a question, not a peep, just none of that. They don't care. But anyways, yeah, I think with Glaze, it's like, okay, if he had competent either run blocking ability or pass blocking ability at right tackle and you take him there, fine, whatever. I agree with what you guys showed earlier in the week was that I don't know that the film is there to warrant pick 77, which is a top 100 pick. That is somebody you expect to at some point start for your team when you pick somebody inside the top 100. Every GM does it when they use a top 100 pick. Those are valuable picks to them. They used a valuable pick on a guy. So they must think that he's a starting guard at some point. At some point, it doesn't have to be this year, but at some point they think he's a starting guard, which to me does put a little pressure on Parham in that case, where it's like, Parham, you got to have that year to get you that second contract, or else we got this kid that we do like, that we drafted behind you. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's very, very strange, very strange. I don't know about it. I don't want to see it early. I'm with you guys. I don't want, unless he has the camp of all camps. I don't want to see him out there. I'd rather see, Andres Pete come in, or any of these other people that are veterans if there are injuries, which I expect there to be injuries on the O-line. It's the O-line.
Yeah, exactly. Is Parham moving to right guard? I hope so, because
Be
that's where
nice.
he is. I mean, that's where he played in college, and then he played there 1 week versus the Chargers, and he balled. And they're like, oh, you know what? You play too
Mm-hmm.
good there. Let's move you to left.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Josh. You're so smart, dog. So hopefully
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. You have a set interior O-line. If you are able to go JPJ at left guard, James at center, and Parham at right guard, if that's what they do, and Parham plays the way we think he can play at right guard, which is his natural position, then you're pretty much set on the interior with a bunch of relatively young players.
yeah, because a lot of people want to replace. They want to get rid of Parham. It's like this question they ask: who gets traded first, Parham or Mayer? Which I hope they do neither.
Neither. Get out of here.
I
Parham,
may
though. My answer would be Parham, but yeah.
maybe we're talking like 2026. We might trade Michael Mayer. Maybe I could
Yeah.
see that, but
Yeah.
not this year. Not with Dylan Parham either. But hopefully they're being smart, because I mean that's the right thing. I mean, if you're watching film and you understand that Dylan Parham, I'm telling you, versus the Chargers as a right guard, he was a stud. And then against the Cardinals as a right guard, I think he played center that game though, actually. But as he only played right guard for one game, and he was a stud, man. He looked like he was going to be one of the best guards in football. And then they moved him to the left, and he struggled. So hopefully they do that. I'm praying that that's what that is, and they just put him back in his right position. But that's why I feel like he's at, man. I feel like he should be there, man, at right guard. I just think they didn't like John Simpson, and they didn't like Lester Cotton, which I just don't understand why they didn't like John Simpson, because obviously Simpson was good. He got a damn contract for the Jets, and
I know.
then he went to the Ravens. So I don't know what the hell the problem was. I don't know what they were doing with that line and playing Alex Bars that whole damn season. It was just stupid, man. It was just so hopefully that's what they're doing, man. Hopefully they're doing the right thing there and just kind of put him in the right in the right position, in my opinion. So
I hope so too, man.
all right. You think Bradley beats out Brown for QB3? Yes.
Yeah. I like him more as a player, but it's weird. I noticed I know Jackson Powers Johnson was putting on for his guy. They played at Oregon together. But Antonio Pierce was saying like Anthony Brown's been doing some nice things for them. So I mean, maybe that's just lip service and saying like, hey, he's a cool guy. We like having him around. But I'm intrigued by Carter Bradley's arm, and I
Yeah.
think he might have a fun preseason with him.
Yeah, exactly. Where do you expect the Raiders to be drafted next year? Keep in mind the QBs who will be available. Where do you expect to be drafted next year?
I will say they will have the 19th pick in the draft next year.
19th? Are you going? Okay, you're going 19th.
Mm-hmm. Right on the fringe. They're gonna be a fringe team, fringe playoff team. Like either just miss it or just hop in.
Yeah, it's one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna just hop in there. You know, it all depends on how the offense plays. I think if the offense is better than we think, I think they're going to be a pretty good team. But I think the defense is going to drive this team this year. They're going to be a defensive football team. It's going to be like some 90s Raider stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is Brian falling in a favor? I hope not.
Right guard position hasn't been. There's nothing at right guard. I just hope they play him at right guard. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, sorry, Gus Garrett. I know you asked me these questions in the DMs, but I forgot to answer. He really exceeded with combo blocks, double team blocks. Him at guard with JPJ launcher could be phenomenal. Yeah, I think he could be a guard, right? I really do. I really feel like he could be a guard. So, do you see a wide zone scheme? I saw that question here too. There's another question about well, that's what you're drawing tonight, but asking about zone schemes, and you know, I don't know. They're confusing me a little bit, but I still think they're gonna run zone. I think they're gonna run zone. I'm not gonna go try to act like they're not, because I still think, you know, with Getsy coming over from, you know, wide zone schemes and what they like to do in Green Bay and what they did a little bit in Chicago. I think Chicago, who's a little bit a mixture, but they ran wide zone against the Raiders and just buried them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they did.
Beat them down. That's what I was really hoping they would sign Dante Foreman.
Me too, dude. Me too.
Right? I was like, just sign him, man. Alex Madison, sign Foreman. Like, what are you doing? That's what I
actually hate the running back room right now for the most part. I'm a Laube. I'm intrigued by Laube, but again, we're talking about a day 3 pick. The thing with it's like, man, if you just brought in a scheme fit kind of, you know, around 4 yards per carry vet with Zamir White as kind of like Zamir White insurance in case he's just that the last half of the season was a fluke with Zamir White. Now, Zamir White, you look at the dude, he's like rocked up. He looks crazy. Like, it just looks like a bowling ball. Like, it just looks really good. But, yeah, I was like, Foreman, man. Foreman was there. Just bring him in. It fits. He's a guy early in the season, can kind of just, you know, he's a veteran presence in a young running back room. The Madison thing still doesn't make sense to me. Every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah.
Because what I'll be mad about is if they sign Foreman, like, in preseason or something, or they sign him like week 2.
Right.
Like, bro, you should have brought him in the first place.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So it just annoy me a little bit. If Locano becomes a little bit more mobile this year, what would his comp be? Is that you're not talking about Ben Roethlisberger, right? That'd be
See, you gotta be. I say Matt Schaub and people roll their eyes. It's like, bro, like that guy led teams to the playoffs. You're talking about like Ben Roethlisberger is a fringe Hall of Famer, perhaps a Hall of Famer. Like pro comps. Yeah. That's why I respect Nate Tice a lot. Nate Tice will compare a guy to like a average player, even a first round pick. He'll be like, yeah, he reminds me of like this at Peerless Price or something. You know what I mean? Like he'll say something like that. And to me, like I said, the Matt Schaubs, there's like elements of a Tannehill, but Tannehill's a little more athletic. So it's just, no, I think he's a pure pocket passer that is going to rely on timing and footwork in the pocket. That's what he's going to live from the pocket. And like, I like what they did on the interior offensive line, provided that they play Parham at right guard. And that's how you're going to win. You're going to have a cheap contract to work around for this year. I mean, and they've surrounded him with good skill position and what I think is a pretty good to even borderline really good offensive line. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure, man. Who fits Getsy's offense better, Aiden or Guard Dog? Is that his nickname now?
Oh, the Guard Dog. Yeah, they call him the Guard Dog. Yeah, okay, that was a big Rush podcast thing. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't think either are like amazing fits.
I wouldn't say either. Yeah,
I guess I'm just gonna go Aiden for continuity with the receivers.
Yeah, I don't think they're either. Honestly, I don't think they're either fits. Man.
Right.
He wants a more athletic guy, but
agreed. And they will always look to upgrade. I don't think either guy is going to be like the unquestioned guy this year. I just think Aiden deserves a season to see.
All right. Did I watch Glaze right tackle tape? No, I haven't. But it's still, I think even if he played right tackle, I think his feet are still too slow. His feet are way too slow to playing tackle in the NFL, just because, you know, and and this could be a knock on the Big Ten. The Big Ten just doesn't have the crazy athletes, right, that are out there playing, defensive end like that all the
Just
time.
Penn State. Penn State's the only team that
And he got his ass kicked
he
against Penn
did.
State.
They got freaks on the edge. Yeah, they do always every
So,
day.
so that's my thing with Glaze. You know what I mean? JPJ playing left guard. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I think that's what he's gonna be best at. If he's gonna be a good player there. So, I hope so. This would be my wish. But
so so they're saying they're gonna eventually have JPJ take over at center on after in 2025. I agree. I think that is the I think that's what's gonna end up happening. Yeah.
So vet corner is a big conversation. I know Glenn, I know you like Jackson.
I do.
And then there's just Gilmore. There's Howard. I love Steven Nelson because I know Steven Nelson's not going to suck. I know that for sure. What are your thoughts on veteran corner?
Yeah, to me, like I said, I think the Graham scheme is about eliminating weak links rather than having the shutdown guy. I think that's what seems to be modern NFL is can you tackle in front of you and are you the weak link inside this secondary? I think the years of like Revis Island, trust me, you still want the guy like that, but I think it's all about like, can you execute your role within a system? So I am intrigued by Steven Nelson. Adoree Jackson, I think, gives them some playmaking ability in the secondary and in the return game. If they want to do that, which we'll talk about the return game later, of course. But the market is just like dead, so I'm fine with them not making the move right now. But by camp, I would hope they would be able to bring one of those guys in. I mean, some of these guys are veterans. They're like, what am I going to sign a contract for right now? At this point, I get it. It's a veteran market. Xavier Howard is just I think he had a better peak than all of those, except for Gilmore. But he had a better peak than I think all of those guys. But he's really, really hurt. Like, and I see a lot of like Marcus Peters potential with him. Like, it's just the wrong time to bring him in. I think it's very like the year when the Raiders brought in like Jordy Nelson and all those guys like as like scabs. That's what that feels like. Whereas I think like Gilmore brings you that veteran leadership with like one more year of like lockdown upside, and then Nelson, like you said, he's just not going to be the weak link on your team, and he's going to solidify his role in the defense. And then Jackson, like I said, is the playmaker.
Yeah, exactly. Give me your top 3 undrafted free agents that have the best chance to make the 53-man squad. 3, man.
We're both gonna pick Bradley, right?
Bradley. I like Coker from TCU. I think he has a chance to make it. There's a defensive end, a defensive tackle from Iowa.
Defensive tackle, the Iowa guy. I don't know his last name, but he's the one. He was very productive at Iowa, and I think they could use like one more guy there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like Coker from TCU.
Noah Shannon. Noah Shannon is the guy from Iowa.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. I like Coker from TCU, the tackle.
I agree with all those.
You might have a chance because especially if they move Glaze to guard, then there's not that much for him. He's got to beat Dalton Wagner out, and
who the fans love. Fans love Dalton Wagner. I look, maybe there's something there. People act like they're like, dude, he's the guy. I'm like, okay. Relax.
I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he had good film at Arkansas though. And he didn't play bad in the preseason last year. We'll see. So we're Bowers and JPJ both top 20 draft prospects. I think they are
25, top 25,
top 25. Okay,
which again they got Powers Johnson 20 picks after that. So yeah, absolute amazing value. I think Jackson Powers Johnson should have been the Miami Dolphins pick. Instead of Chop Robinson.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's get to our next topic here, bro. Got the questions, which is a good transition with JPJ. JPJ at left guard, which I see is a big topic. Him playing left guard this week. I'm kind of more interested to see where he plays in minicamp when actually Dylan Parham's on the field.
Right.
I was thinking he's going to play center, this week. I don't know who the center was. No idea, because we didn't talk about, nobody cares. We just care about the first and second round picks. We don't care who's actually on the field, like trying out, or because they had to have a center this week, right? Rookie minicamp, you had to have a center. Right? Somebody has to be snapped the ball to Carter Bradley.
Yeah, true.
Somebody had to do it, right? So I don't know who that guy was, but they had a JPJ at left guard. And, that's caused, I see a lot of people trying to throw Dylan Parham, say he's going to get cut. but hopefully they move him to right guard. But we don't know for sure until minicamp. When we get to minicamp, that's when we'll figure out where they're playing. I think JPJ talked about he's going to play left guard during his press conference, so that kind of might have gave it away a little bit.
Yeah.
It was Will Putnam at center. See, look, you fans are on it, man. That's why I like you guys.
Dude, were you guys there? Were
you
you? Are
guys
you
are
Will?
on
Are
it.
you Will Putnam? Are you watching right now?
You guys are on it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's why I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the fans.
They're
Because you
good.
guys were fucking on it. I had
They're
no
good.
idea who it was. Will Putnam. I like you guys. But we got to see where he lines up when Parham's on the field. Because if they don't like Parham, I think that's weird. Parham just doesn't play bad enough for
No.
anybody to like move on from him, right? I still think there's some good moments with him. I still think that he, maybe like against some of the best players in the league, he might lose. But I still think even when he played center last year, I thought he played really solid. I think he's just a solid player, right? And I feel like when you get a guard in the third or fourth round, sure, maybe you want to all pro or whatever. But if you get a solid player that we don't know how he's going to take that leap in year 3, right? He's only played 2 seasons in the NFL. And if they move in the right guard, I think he'll play a whole lot better. Yeah. But I kind of want to see what they do in minicamp. But, wherever Jackson Powers Johnson plays, it don't matter, man. He's going to ball. And he's going to bring some viciousness to his offensive line.
Can't wait.
And it's going to be exciting to see what he can do, man.
They really just haven't had that nastiness since the Osemele days. You know what I mean? Like Kelechi Osemele, like that. They just haven't had that nastiness. A little bit with the Gruden era. I'll give them that. They had a little bit in that 2019 year, like when they went to London and beat the Bears. They played with Incognito, who, Jackson Powers Johnson. I'm not saying anything about off the field, but like he does have that like incognito kind of like outspokenness to him, which I like, and he does have that nastiness to him with the technically sound abilities there. So I'm excited for him at left guard a lot. And like I said, there's going to be injuries on the offensive line. And it's nice to know that, like, okay, if Andre James gets hurt, which he did last year, he got hurt last year. It happened. And guys do get hurt. They're big dudes, and they got to move their feet a lot, and guys get rolled up on no matter what they do to protect themselves. It can just happen. If Jackson Powers Johnson has to play center, it's like that is not a disaster. At least I don't think it is. I mean, you the tape you've shown of him playing center, I'm like, I would have. That's since Wisniewski, or since Rodney Hudson. That's the best Raiders center. You know what I mean, right there. Like I think right now, I think a lot of fans are like, this guy might be better than Andre James, but we'll see. We'll see. There's leadership abilities with James that people really like and stuff. So I don't want to crap on on Andre James or anything. I think he's actually pretty good. So.
Yeah, man. Andre James is solid. This is what I'm saying. Like Dylan Parham's solid. I saw there was a good comment here from my dude Raider Barry. That's not the comment. Where was a good comment, Raider Barry? I saw it.
Raider Barry's like a referee in the comment section. Raider Barry does not.
I appreciate Raider Barry. I really.
He's like a bouncer. He's like, hey, relax, pal. I like Raider Barry a lot. Mm-hmm.
So he's solid, just not strong enough at this point, and that is a good kind of breakdown of Dylan Parham, and I kind of understand that, but I still think at right guard he was a stud, man. He looked fantastic at right guard. I have no idea why they moved him, but I'm not the coach. I'm not Carmen Bracello, who everybody hated. So I don't. So if he goes back to right guard, then I'm completely happy with that. I like where James Craig's mind is. If he does that, that means James Craig is smart, and I would appreciate that. So I would really like that if he did that. So hopefully that is the plan. But if they play JPJ at right guard and keep Dylan Parham at left guard, I still would feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just, again, I think if the new offensive line coach went in and saw the one game you're talking about, Parham at right guard, it's like, I like what I saw there. Let's just give that a go. And it's up to him to win it. Yeah, Parham has to go out there and play well. I mean, he shouldn't be handed anything, but I do believe that you should be told, hey, I want to see you play this position in camp. That coaches have to do that, put them in a position to succeed, and then it's up to Parham and hit the weight room. Everybody else is looking jacked right now, dude. I'm looking at like Trey Tucker. All these dudes are looking like second year looking jacked. So it's like, dude,
green, bro.
Like, yeah, no bigger fan. There's no bigger Deuce Gruden fan than me. So but Parham, get on the DG. Deuce Guerrero. He's like our Alex Guerrero, dude. Like get on there. Like get on that Parham. Get on everybody else's level. And I hope Jackson Powers Johnson brings that like Tasmanian devil kind of nastiness that everybody else has to match.
Yeah, and with Parham too, I think with NFL teams and even NFL GMs, they stick to their draft grades, and everybody was really high on him in the draft. I even see
Yeah.
like a lot of the O-line guys, they always post all these positive things about Dylan Parham. They're comparing guards coming out this year to Dylan Parham, right? So I still think he has a high regard in when it comes to NFL scouts and GMs, that a GM, who knows how Tom Telesco felt about him coming out. And that's what's going to drive Tom Telesco. If Tom Telesco is high on him coming out, that he's gonna get every single chance he gets to be the starter, right? But if he was lower on him, then we'll see. But I still think that maybe he was a little bit higher on him because the NFL was. I mean, when the Raiders took that pick, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Dylan Parham, what a pick!" You know what I'm saying? So I still think the NFL is high on Dylan Parham. Just like if they wanted to trade him, I'm pretty sure they can probably get some damn good value from him if they actually wanted to go that route. I don't think they will, but I still think that the NFL is pretty high on him, so that's why he's going to get every single chance to be the starter.
Why does everyone want to trade him in the comments? I don't want to. No.
Because he's not. Because he's not a superstar. I mean,
That's crazy.
And I get it.
No,
but he's solid. He's a solid player. Like he can make a offensive line solidified to be good, and I think they have a good starting five at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
people ask me about Will. Yeah, I gotta check out some Will Putnam, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Guys. I did watch a little bit of Coker. Coker's a pretty good player. I think he's a pretty good player. That's why I think he has a chance to make the team. I mean, maybe Will Putnam does have a chance to make the team at center.
Be interesting.
We'll see. See there. Somebody had the whole rookie. This is what I like, you guys, man. He gets the whole rookie mini camp starting lineup.
He works from home, dude. He's just working from home. I got the UDFA, bro. I got the rankings, dude. I got all 32 at mini camp. I got them power ranked. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
I like it. No, I love it. This is why we're sports fans. I mean, this is great.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. So next topic here, we're talking about a little bit of Thayer Mumford at right tackle, which is pretty much been, he's the unquestioned right tackle at this point.
He is, which is I'm a fan. I've liked the way he's played. I liked they missed Colton Miller last year, but we're talking about one of the better tackles in the league with Colton Miller. I think he's actually an underrated tackle in the league. I think he's deserves to be up there with some of the best. And yes, did Mumford fill in for him amazingly? No, we noticed that Miller was gone, but he did an adequate job. I mean, the place didn't fall apart when he was there. When the manager goes on vacation, the place doesn't light on fire. I thought he did a good job. And then at right tackle, I thought he played well. And he really, it sounds like everybody says he's done a really good job of just like getting in better shape since he's come in the league and trimming up. And it seems like everybody likes him. And people talk about, look, Pierce is a very good communicator to the media. And I think he's able to, even if he has his own private thoughts about players, I think he's able to uplift people in the media and get them going. But he said we don't need. Who said we needed a right tackle? You guys thought we needed a right tackle. And look, I still think they were looking at right tackles, but they didn't sign any in free agency.
I know.
So and they went Brock Bowers over Fuaga, which again I like that pick. But if they just decided it was a dire need on this team and went and was like Fuaga, Fontenot, any of these guys, that if they thought it was that big of a need, they could have done that. And this whole time they're like, stay him up for this, was he a 6th rounder, like a 6th or 7th rounder? Yeah. Day 3 pick for sure. He's done damn well, I think, as for a day 3 pick, about as good as anybody can do. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Look, there's Dalton Wagner fan base. Look, let's see it. Let's see him be healthy for a training camp, and let's see him battle. But I don't know. Sounds like it's Mumford's job to lose.
Yeah, and Dan Mumford has been terrible in the NFL. This was
Mm-mm.
what I'm talking about with offensive linemen, because you know when you have a great offensive line, you're not going to have superstars everywhere, right?
Right.
And I know when the Raiders had a great offensive line, they basically did. They had like Donald Penn, the Ronnie Hudson, they had
Incognito was weird. They were
Gabe
able to get
Jackson,
Incognito off of like a very strange circumstance, like that.
and he
It
was
was a
amazing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Thayer Mumford's still a solid player, right? Can Thayer Mumford be beat? 100%. But he's a
Yeah.
solid player, man. He's a solid right tackle. I see people talk about him in the zone scheme. Can he fit? That's the interesting part of this whole off season is what are they really going to do? They can tell us whatever the fuck they want us to tell us, but what are they really going to do? You know what I mean? Are they really going to run pure zone? Are they going to run more power? Are they going to be a mixture? It's going to be 50-50. That's the thing, because if they feel like Thayer Mumford could play right tackle for them, then that's gonna be a little interesting, because his athleticism is a little bit like DJ Glaze, where can he really fit there in the outside zone scheme? Now, I think he could play better there, because I think last year when they ran outside zone, he looked a lot. He would look better than DJ Glaze will, right? And I think they really like Mumford, because the one thing that Mumford does really well is if you do a toss to his side and you can get him out in space, he does really well in space. He does.
Cool.
He can get he can get out there in space, and even with that little bit of lack of athleticism, and has a little bit bigger player. Maybe they feel like that can be his upside, his outside zone, because of how he moves in space. That is one thing he does really well. If you talk about any of the bosses you've seen the past couple of years, you could think about Munford getting out there and being that lead guy and making some kind of big block there. So I think he can do that well, and maybe that's why they feel like he could do the zone scheme a little bit. But I think he's a solid player though, man. I don't feel like he's awful. Like, you can go to PFF grade. He has a solid PFF grade.
Yeah.
All those things. Whatever you want to look at, whatever item you want to look at, pressures, whatever. I think he's a solid player.
Yeah.
And maybe he might not be a superstar, but I mean, we have a superstar at left tackle, and I think that's really all you need on the offensive line. I think if you have one superstar and he's surrounded by solid guys, and then they add in Jackson Powers Johnson, who might be a superstar, so you might have two superstars surrounded by a bunch of solid guys that have continuity. That makes a great offensive line, and I think that's you have to kind of think about it that way. That not everybody on this offensive line has to be a star. And if they're a great offensive line and the Raiders win games, they'll all make the Pro Bowl anyways. So that's how it's gonna work.
No, I like it. I think I'm fine with it. I think it's okay. I wanted to add a right tackle in free agency, but I kind of like the confidence. I like what they did there. I mean, Tyron Smith was only going to go to a couple different teams. I know he's a couple of these other people were only going to go to certain areas, and I think the Raiders being a little bit slept on right now in terms of what they got going on the roster. But again, if you have one guy you're just somewhat unsure of, and I don't think the Raiders are unsure if they're Mumford. Again, their offseason strategy suggests that they are pretty set on Mumford. But if as fans, if we're unsure about one person on the offensive line, that's pretty good, because most teams have like 3 or 4 question marks on the offensive line. Truly, like I'll say 3. They have like 2 to 3 real question marks on their offensive line. Like Jaden Daniels is going to a team that has a bad offensive line in Washington. Even like CJ Stroud has like kind of some issues on his offensive line. Like, I think the Raiders actually have a solid. I'll say solid. I will put their offensive line as solid with potential to be very good.
Yeah. And Colt Miller is elite.
Yeah,
I think Colt Miller is elite. I don't care what anybody says.
All pro. Yeah,
he's all pro type of player. He's
perennial
an elite
all pro
left tackle, right? And all the Raiders have to do is win for him to get his recognition. But he is a stud, right? So, and I think he's gonna help this offensive line as long. Hopefully, he stays healthy. And I saw some questions about Andres Pete a little bit, but I hopefully he stays healthy, man, because that's gonna be a big deal for this whole team, I think. I mean, because they asked about thoughts on the Pete signing. What are your thoughts on that, Glenn?
Quality depth. I don't want him starting because he's just a bad injury. He has really bad injury history. But I think if you need a spot starter, even a guy to come in for like a couple plays for while somebody gets taped up, I think he can do some nice things on the field. I mean, he's a productive player. I mean, it's good. I mean, to me, that's what I like. I like young, promising players starting, and I like a little bit past their prime veterans as the like White. I don't think Whitehair's past his prime. I just think he had a bad year last year. But
Yeah,
I like that kind of balance on the offensive line is veterans backing up the young guys. And if like I said, if Jackson Powers Johnson needs to get his ankle taped up or has to miss the rest of the game, something you put Andrus Pete in there. I don't think. Look, there's a downgrade, but it's not. I don't think it's a absolute like, oh my gosh, we're starting this guy who shouldn't be in the league. Andrus Pete belongs in the league, and that's good to have his depth.
yeah, for sure, man.
I saw a question about Telesco's. I thought it was a really good question about interviewing draft prospects, about how almost none of the Raiders picks really had a lot of content. That was a great question. I'd like to. I think that's interesting. It was a while back, but I thought that was good. That was a good one. I thought that was.
Well, I saw that question too.
Yeah. So the question, I mean, you can pull it up or not, but I know what it was. The person was saying almost all of the Raiders that were interviewed today, they asked how much contact they had with the Raiders. The media asked them, and a lot of the players were like, not much. I mean, maybe here and there. I think DeCameron Richardson mentioned like maybe one Zoom interview, but nothing like super memorable. And there it is. Okay, so none of the new rookies had any idea they were getting drafted by the Raiders. No meetings, no phone calls, etc. Does that say the draft went nothing like Telesco thought it would? I think it's the absolute opposite. I think what Telesco does is he brings in guys he's unsure of or has a few questions about. So if he brings you in and wants to talk to you, it's like, I from your tape, I can't quite tell. From your tape and from talking to your college coach, I can't quite tell what you are. So I got to talk to you when you see these 30 visits and things like that. But I think some of these guys that they had, the questions were answered on the tape. They saw the traits with DeCameron Richardson and the tackling ability, and they were like, that's fine. Bring that in. 4th round, low risk pick. Then with Jackson Powers Johnson, it's like, dude, this guy's a captain on his team. They wanted team captains, if you notice, too. Jackson Powers Johnson is a captain of his team, versatility on the offensive line, plays nasty, bring him in. I think they draft. You don't want to waste those visits on guys you don't really have any questions for.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Glenn, he says, Glenn, I'm done working 40 years, working 2 jobs.
Bro, living the dream, dude. Living the dream. That's exactly what I would be doing too. Shout out. Thank you for what I don't know what you did for 40 years, but you deserve to kick back and watch good Raider football. Let's give you some. You started your life with good Raider football. Let's do the back 9 with good Raider football, man. Yeah, how about that?
For sure.
Yeah.
How did Bowers land 18 point? I think this is the average for where he was at, right? And then kind of the average. I mean, their deals aren't like they used to be because the NFL players are crying because Sam Bradford got 60 million and Jamarcus Russell. So
remember Michael Crabtree with his hair all tied up and eating breakfast in his house like Prince? That was crazy, dude. With the Niners, that was nuts. Those days were crazy, dude. People forget that was a different era. I'm so glad that era's gone. That was a nightmare. Yeah,
because imagine how much money Caleb Williams would be asking for, bro. Like, could you imagine paying a rookie quarterback $50 million from the jump right now?
Yeah, and it's called the draft, like the military. You just show up, dude. Like, yeah, and we'll pay you what we pay you. After that, you're a free agent, and then we pay you what you want plus what we think we can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Rams they gave Sam Bradford the bet for nothing. And if the NFL was like, nah, man, we can't do this anymore, man. We don't want to do this. And he said, you're killing off his character already. I don't know. I forgot what you're talking about here.
No, he's talking about the guy. I said the back 9. That's half, brother. Half. Golf is 18 holes. Yes. I'm giving him a long time of good Raider football. Okay.
Man.
I didn't say the 9th inning. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Jamarcus Russell first. Jamarcus Russell made huge bank from the Raiders,
Stupid money. Sam Bradford.
Right? And then Sam Bradford was
Michael
the last
Crabtree.
straw.
Crabtree made insane money with the Niners. I remember he didn't show up to camp forever. And he was like I remember paying attention because I was local, and the Raiders took DHB over him, so I was like,
Oh
oh, we'll
yeah,
see what happened. Yeah,
yeah. Good old DHB, Mr. Special Teams. He played in the
remember,
year. He played in the NFL for like 12 years though.
Mike Tomlin
DHB.
loved him. No, and he worked his ass off. I remember with DHB, they would like you would hear guys that are like, bro, he's trying his damn best, dude. Like he's not lazy. He's not like a bust. You would think like a bust is like just lazy and like not
Yeah,
trying really hard. And like, bro, he's trying his best. And then I still remember, dude. I was at a game. I think it was against the Seahawks. I don't know when this was. It had to have been like 2011 or something. There was Jason Campbell split like coverage and hit him. DHB caught the ball behind him and took it to the house, dude. It was crazy. I was just like, God, why? Where, man, can we just get that, dude? And you'd be able to hear him chest catch it on the radio, bro. Greg Papa would say, like, and he throws to DHB, thunk, caught, you know what I mean? Because he would catch that thing in his chest, bro. Like, it was DHB, man. What a guy. Oh, bless his heart.
I mean, 2011, he had a pretty good season, almost had 1,000 yards.
I thought he was. Oh, I was so juiced. I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go. I was at that game and I was like, oh, DHB, look at that speed. He can't cover him. He can block. He get out there and block. Oh man, yeah.
See. The thing is, man, I'll never forget how hype I was when Carson Palmer was traded for. I
hated it. I hated it.
You hated that trade? I was so hyped. I was like, we finally got a quarterback.
No,
we haven't had a quarterback for years, and he came here and sucked.
No, I hated it because I was at the game where Jason Campbell broke his collarbone against the Browns, where Jacoby Ford tiptoed down the sideline on the kick return, and then Kevin Boss caught a fake field goal touchdown. I was at that game, and I was sitting on Mount Davis back in the day. Mount Davis, you couldn't. Good seats. I love Mount Davis, but like you couldn't. Jason Campbell just dove, and I was like, bro, he's like, what happened? He like snap his neck. He's like not getting up, and I was like, bro, this is the easiest division you could ever win this year. It was like Tebow mania, but even then it was like 8-8, you know, like and it was like, this is the easiest division. And a healthy Jason Campbell, the Raiders are hosting a playoff game that year, just healthy Jason Campbell. And then they traded the farm. Who knows what they would have done with the picks, but they traded the farm for a guy who was like, I'm not playing football until I get a contract. I was like, man, terrible. I look, he was good. He went to the Cardinals and played good football. It wasn't that he was toast. It's just, I don't know. I was just hoping Jason Campbell stayed.
I don't even talk about this season because I mean, all they do is beat the Lions that game. If they just beat the Lions, if they don't blow a 27-14 lead.
Rolando McClain covering Calvin Johnson on a wheel route. I'll never forget it. What was that defensive coordinator's name? He was terrible. God,
John Brennan or something.
Chuck Bresnahan.
Chuck Bresnahan.
Terrible. That was the worst. Okay, and fans don't want to hear this, dude. We're trying to build some depth and have good drafts and stuff. But yeah, no, that year really it makes me more. That year
that's one of the worst. That's one of the worst Raiders season for me ever.
Exactly. I'd rather them just when they would bomb out and go like 3-13. I'm like, whatever. I don't have to pay attention to football this year. Like, but when they would be like kind of tight and then just melt down, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. That's literally one of the worst seasons ever. Because even remember the last game, all they do is beat the Chargers, right? And then Phillip Rivers, I remember that game. A ball didn't touch the ground with Phillip Rivers. I feel like Phillip Rivers had his best game of his whole career.
Hey, bro, fans are
saying there, and like Carson Palmer was actually playing good. He was trying to go blow for blow, but Phillip Rivers just couldn't stop.
Yeah, we might have to do during a slow time. We might have to do a Raider trauma pour out. Like we'll just lay down. I'll lay down somewhere and put the laptop on my chest.
I'll never forget that game, bro. Like my daughter was like just born. Like she was like 6 months, and I was like watching her, and I was like she was like crying, and I was like just so upset.
Yeah,
because fucking terrible. Anyways, guys,
you envied her because she couldn't process any of it. Yeah.
She couldn't process emotions yet.
Yeah, she was just like she can't see this or understand what's happening. Yeah. She's like she doesn't understand Chuck Bresnahan. Yeah, is ruining my
life right here.
A great moment in my life. Yeah.
It was the Raiders making the playoffs for like the first time in like you know what I mean?
Oh God, I know that year. That was a tough one. Man.
That was a terrible year.
Great defensive line. I loved their defensive line. Yeah,
Richard Seymour.
Yeah, Trevor Scott. Who's the guy that broke into the person's house and they didn't know that? Desmond Bryant. That's who I was talking about. Desmond Bryant. Man, they had some guys on that D line. That was a good big TK dude. Yeah. Oh,
all they needed was Namdi, but they let him trade
Namdi. And they would have Chris Johnson. terrible Chris Johnson,
Route,
Matt Giordano, yeah, all these guys,
Stanford
yeah.
Route. Remember he traded Namdi because he thought Stanford Route was going to take the.
Yeah, they paid him. No, that was the crazy part. They paid Stan. They're like, all right, Namdi's traded. There was a clause in his contract because he didn't have enough interceptions because nobody would throw to. They would throw at Stanford Route, and they're like, then we're paying Stanford Route. Yeah, crazy, dude.
Awful
Crazy.
season.
Anyways,
Awful.
what else is on the itinerary for the now, Marcus? I'm sweating now. I feel like I've had a allergic reaction to something.
Me too, man. All right, Carter Bradley showing out. So now we're talking about Carter Bradley a little bit, okay? That's our rookie quarterback. We know if Carter Bradley makes his team, and if Aiden O'Connor or Gardner Minshew throws his interception, there's gonna be some talk for Carter Bradley. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Damn.
Especially if Carter Bradley plays well in the preseason, which I think he will.
Can he move a little bit?
Yeah, he can move. He has a big arm too. It's a pretty big arm. He just played at South Alabama. Didn't really get a lot of pub, but he was really good at the Senior Bowl. And then Vinny, I can't say his last name. Sorry, Vinny. I talk to you every week, but I can't say your last name.
Bonsignore.
But yeah, Vinny. He was tweeting out a lot about him, how he looked really good in 7-on-7s, which he did at the Senior Bowl too. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how he works. See if he can make this football team. I think he has a some people are saying that Anthony Brown will beat him out, but I don't know. He just a lot of guys when they come from NFL pedigree, like that's why I really like Trey Taylor. Like Trey Taylor has Ed Reed behind him. That's somebody you can lean on. I really, really like Trey Taylor, right? And even though there's some things about him, but whatever. But I still like his potential as a playmaker in the NFL. And I think, Carter Bradley has the same thing where, he's grown up around the NFL and he has a chance to continue to grow. And maybe some of this stash, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a player that's got to have a good preseason, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, and again, you get just because it's a newer rule in the NFL the last few years since the Niners had Christian McCaffrey taking snaps at quarterback and Josh Johnson in the Eagles playoff game, you now get a third quarterback slot that doesn't go against your 53 guys that you dress up and stuff. So there is room to have that developmental guy. And so Carter Bradley is going to be going against Anthony Brown. So, if he can beat out Anthony Brown, which I don't believe is like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. I think it's a thing you can do for the South Alabama guy. And if he is able to show out, he's got a good arm. That is something neither quarterback ahead of him has is a good arm. And if he's able to make some plays, he could be a guy worth keeping around as a developmental guy. And look, those preseason games, I think Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew are going to have to play. So I don't know the playing time situation. I'm very interested in how they do that. But those late preseason games when a lot of things are settled, those are Carter Bradley games and Anthony Brown. So it'll be fun to watch. I mean, look, for the sickos, and look, we got people that rank the UDFAs. So like they're gonna be watching, and we're all sickos. We're gonna be watching Carter Bradley versus Anthony Brown, and it's gonna be kind of fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting battle. I think whoever kind of gets the nod early on will tell us a lot. But like I said, he has an NFL pedigree. I think that's going to take him a long way. I do think that there's a lot of nepotism in the NFL. Let's keep it real. A lot of nepotism, a lot of those type of things. So I think that's going to happen a little bit. But it's going to be super interesting to see what happens with Carter Bradley as he continues to grow.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It would be really funny though if he struggled against the cover 3 though. I just think it'd be kind of funny if like cover 3 just vexed him and like he was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like, dude, what the hell? Yeah.
You can't read cover.
Yeah, he's just slicing up press man, dude. He's just ripping it down the field, just like you can't stop him. And then his dad's just like, nah, I know exactly what to do to this scrub. Yeah.
I really hope that's a good point. I really hope he can tear up cover 3. I hope he knows everywhere to go.
You better. Like that's what I mean. Like you better be just with this horseshit defense. I got the Seattle cover 3. What is this? Legion of Boom. I'm cutting this up. But if he doesn't know what to do against Seattle cover 3, I don't know. Yeah.
I hope so, man.
That's a red flag for every other defense you play.
That
I'm
is a
like,
red, yeah, it's a huge red flag. He better know
I
everywhere
cut
to
him.
go.
I cut him the minute
He
he's
better know.
cover
He better
three.
know everywhere to go. Like the seam here.
Yeah.
You go here.
Carter, coach wants to see you real fast. Bring your playbook.
Bring your playbook.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
But if he tears it up, I'm in. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's up to him. I just mean like that last name. Everybody knows your dad, dude. Like it's like
we know
Phillips.
what your dad does. It's
like
really
Wade
well.
Phillips. Yeah, if Wade Phillips kid had a quarterback, you hope that he would get the Wade Phillips defense. Yeah.
Yeah, cover 3 better be no issue for Carter Bradley, man. He better just come in there and just be tearing it up. Know everywhere to go, know everywhere to break it down. You're right about that. Does his dad run cover 3? His dad still does. He doesn't.
You got to watch, you got to find some of his college tape against a team that plays like a little like soft zone cover 3 kind of thing. And if it's like it was his worst game, you'd be like, bro, this is not gonna go well. Yeah.
What about Manny said he's been studying cover 3 since grade 7.
Or haunted by cover 3. That's what I mean. Like they gotta be careful, man. That's all I mean. Yeah. Like I'm just having fun here, but I want to see it. This is tape don't lie. The person that can answer this is Marcus Johnson, so I want to see how was he against cover 3.
Yeah. I've only watched broadcasts with him. When I did watch him, I mean, he looked pretty good on broadcast. So, but I'm gonna try to find some film. If people are posting Dylan Lobby film for me to download, I hope I can find some Carter Bradley. That's just my hope here.
Oh yeah. Lobby should be tougher to find. South Alabama is at least they play like Troy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Lobby's a good player, man. He can catch the damn football.
I'm a fan. No, hey, we have one more thing to talk about, and Lobby's coming up there. I'm gonna tell you that much.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
I don't even think. I think we're done with the rundown.
Well, kick return. I just wanted to say kick return on this team.
All right, let's talk about kick returns.
It's quick. We don't. It's a completely new process in the game right now. You're like running plays as a kick return. That's why Justin Fields was on the Steelers. And like Justin Fields might take some snaps at kick return. Dude, they might run exotic plays out of kick return. It's going to get weird in the NFL, I think, with kick returns. But people don't realize that Dylan Lowby was really productive as a return guy. And right now the Raiders, like they have DJ Turner, they have Amir Abdullah. None of those guys are like, oh man, I have to have them as my returner. I don't think any of those guys are a Devin Hester. I don't think any of those guys are a Cordero Patterson. But Dylan Lowby, I think, is going to be the Raiders kick returner. That's just my guess. That guy runs well. Like if you watch him, it's just like I get why Telesco just is like, this is my Austin Eckler. I'm going to try to find one every year until it sticks. That's the guy I would look at. He's a good player. He's a good player, and he looks like he's going to work his ass off too. Like he just seems pumped to be in the NFL, and if he can get jacked on the Austin Eckler like one-armed pull-up thing, again, Deuce Gruden, if he can get on that like one-arm pull-up like Austin Eckler thing, I think you have a kick returner, a guy that can work in space there. And I just think we've cast off kick return as like, who cares? It's gonna be a touchback. Yeah. It's gonna be a completely different thing this year.
Completely different thing this year. Like in camp, I would say to Cameron Richardson, can you run a play? Like we'll see. You have to find somebody that can like get you an advantage. See, I like Lobby. I really like Lobby a lot because when I was watching him on film, his offensive line was awful, right? I mean, not that they were awful, but they were playing Western Michigan and they're New Hampshire, right? So they're getting their
pushed
ass
around, yeah.
They're getting their ass kicked. But when he had some good blocking, and even when he didn't, he could still make guys miss, and that's what I really like about him. I really feel like from day one he can be a third down back. I think Amir Abdullah, is an older player. And sure, maybe Amir Abdullah might start week 1, but I think Dylan Lobby by the end of the year is a third down back. That's how comfortable I feel with him as a player doing that, because I just think that he can catch the football, he can block. He'll be hard for linebackers to guard. You could do like wheel routes, you could do anything with him, choice routes, H choice, those type of things. You can work the whole system with Dylan Lobby as a pass catcher. So, that's why I feel like he'll be, eating into Amir Abdullah's snaps. I'm not going to say that I'm going to go to training camp this year. So I'm gonna give you guys a real because last time with training camp, Amir Abdullah was taking first team snaps, and the writers were like ignoring it. They're like, "Why are we talking to him at the press conference?" I'm like, maybe because he's taking first team snaps,
Yeah,
and maybe you should be paying attention to that. So I'm gonna go training camp this year. Got to give you guys the real a little bit, but
there we go.
uh, Lobby, bro, he could eat into those snaps for sure.
I'm telling you, man.
So,
Like their day 3, I think, is among the better day 3 teams in the league, just because they have the pathway. Trey Taylor and Lauby. I think they have Lauby has the quickest way to. Third down back is not a starting role, but I mean it's a role that he can win in camp as a 6th round pick.
yeah,
That's pretty impressive, you know. And like I said, you watch it, he's winning down the field. Like, and again, it's New Hampshire. You have to, but he looks good. Like it looks good when he's in space. He even carrying the ball. I watched just a little bit of him just carrying the ball. I was like, man, this doesn't look half bad. Like I want to see it. I think in preseason he's gonna be another guy in preseason. Like everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? You know, and you'd be like, Good Morning Football. Those are the type of guys like Good Morning Football likes to call. You know, like those Peter Schrager and you know and Kyle Brandt. Like they're like Dylan Lauby, New Hampshire. What the heck? You might make the Raiders. Like just those. He might be the kick returner and the 3rd round back for this team. It's kind of crazy.
It is real crazy. It might be.
It's kind of crazy. If you think it's Amir Abdullah, does anybody on the team, is anybody excited by that? I'm not. So
I'm not at all.
No,
he's like 33. He's like,
dude, I was in like 7th grade when he was playing for Nebraska.
You know what I mean? He's old as hell.
Yeah, when he was at Nebraska, he was playing with Will Compton at Nebraska, dude.
You know what I mean? He's old, man. All right, I don't see any more questions in here before we get.
Yeah, I love that, Sean. Shout out! I saw that earlier. Go for it. I'd say. I would say that. I would say Mark. The question was, the Saints could post June 1st Marcus Lattimore. I would also try to trade for him before that because Lattimore might try to go to the Chiefs. If that's the case, they've lost L'Jarius Sneed. So, and I'm sorry right now. Unfortunately, the Chiefs are a better destination than the Raiders for like a guy that is a veteran that wants to go win a Super Bowl because they've won a lot of them already. We're going to try to put a stop to that by getting Marcus Lattimore. So I want them to go do that. I think that is definitely a missing piece on this team. It's not an essential thing to do, but it's something you do to flex a little bit, and I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I would be in favor of that because I think they need a veteran corner, right? At some point, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to depend on this pass rush like this, I just feel like you need some kind of veteran. You know, like who's playing opposite of Jack Jones right now? You know what I mean? Like they got to bring in somebody. So you know, I really hope they have a plan for that and try to figure out who are they going to bring in that is a veteran presence that can get the job done. So I don't know, man. We'll see.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. To me, that's a nice swing. Like, I mean, he's still very good, and that would be a nice swing for. They're in cap hell. They always find a way to keep their guys, like the guys like him. But if they do it, I wouldn't wait for a cut. I would try to trade for him. Is what I would do. And get him in here earlier than that. We'll see. That's up to Telesco and all of them, but I would try to trade for him and sign him to a new contract because if you had Jack Jones he had a really nice year for the Raiders, but it's like how long does that stay for? He obviously has some issues off the field, and he's definitely kind of a wild dude. So you kind of want to have. I think he has potential to be a legit like star in the league. I just don't want to bet on that. I'd rather have some insurance and have him be, you know, part of the, you know, with someone like Lattimore and Jack Jones, and then you have the young guys behind him. That would be a really, really cool cornerback. It would actually like solve the secondary problem if you did something like that, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody asked a good question. How much cap space do they have? I looked this up while you asked that question. They have 19 million in cap space right now. So.
Yeah, and they're going to extend guys too. They're going to extend guys. I don't know what that does for this year, but yeah, this year if you want to do like a 1-year thing for people, and I'm hoping that they just splurge on one veteran corner that isn't like a Marcus Peters, you know, like go get. Well, we talked about that earlier. Go do that.
Yeah. What other question? What the top free agent cornerbacks right now. No, we talked about that a lot. I love Steven Nelson. That's my guy. I really hope they sign him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I would love that if they did that.
Yeah, that's my big guy. What's the asking price for? I don't know. What is it?
It won't be as high as people think. Like people will think, oh, they got because you have to. They're gonna have to pay him. He's gonna be up for a new deal. So yeah, I would imagine a fourth, maybe some kind of pick swap thing, maybe a little bit of a day 3 pick, and then the new contract is what I would guess for Lattimore.
Okay.
And I would do it. I would do it any day of the week. Like I think he fits this scheme like a glove. I think he fits this team like a glove. I think he's been one of the better corners in football, but the Saints haven't won a lot since he's been there. At least in the last couple of years. I think he's a hell of a player.
Ever since Breeze left. All right, guys. So I don't see any more questions in here, so we're gonna get out of here. I really it's a good episode though. I mean, we kind of
covered a lot.
Everything. We won't be back next week, and maybe I'll be back. I'll do some Q&As with you guys. Maybe if I do some individual stuff, I probably will. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Glen won't be here. But
I'm out of town.
Yeah, we're all right. But we're out of here, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't have the subscribe button, so I'm looking for it, but that's fine because I'm on a different channel. But check us out. Make sure you guys check out everything we're doing. Like I said, I got Trey Taylor in the members section, so if you want to join the members, do that. I'm probably gonna drop that tomorrow. The kind of the smaller breakdown, but I got every play from him versus UNLV up on the channel. So Trey Taylor is a player I really like. Also, I'm gonna keep doing that, guys. Got a whole lot of members coming up. A lot of member stuff. Could do all the draft picks. So definitely got more time to do that. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, join the membership if you guys want to check out those membership videos as well. And that's it, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Hell yeah, man.
We're out of here,
later, guys.
Peace, guys.